Yo, 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 what's going on, everybody? It's your man, Immanuel, back with a new episode of Why We Succeed. Today, I have a very, very special guest joining me on the podcast. My man, the one and only Chris Corinthian. What's going on with you, bro?
Oh man, everything is lovely, man. It's such an honor to be here, man. Speaking to your tribe, to your followers, man. I appreciate the invitation to come and speak.
Oh, man, yo, it's an honor having you on here. I know financial literacy, like, that's your space. I know you about to drop some gems on us today, and I'm excited, man.
No, looking forward to it, man. Looking forward to this.
Most def. So I always start the show off with one question, and that's how do you personally define success? What is it for you, Chris?
So, and I'm kind of jacking this quote up, but it's a quote that I heard first from Zig Ziglar, right? And it
Mm,
was just like, success to him, which I believe is not just the things that money can buy, but mostly the things that money can't buy, right? So
mm,
it's peace of mind, love and relationships, just knowing that you're content in the things that you have while you're striving for greater things. So I know we're talking about money, but most of the time success to me is all those things that money cannot buy. So,
man,
so
I
you know
like that.
money just allows you to become more of who you truly are, right?
Right,
So if you're
right.
a great giving loving person, then money is just going to enhance that, right? Where you can
Hmm.
love more, give more, and scale it on a larger level. Whereas you're selfish, you're negative, and you don't ever think that things are going to go your way, then money is just going to make more of that person. So I
Mm.
think money is just something that enhances who you truly are.
I like that. It's like a enhancer or an amplifier, right? Like whatever you already bring it to the table, it's just
That's
gonna
right.
take that and just multiply
Absolutely, absolutely. So yeah,
it.
that's how I define success.
I like that, bro. I like that. And I really want to get into your story, right? How did you get into the space of financial literacy? Was that something that you always planned to do, or did it kind of fall in your lap?
Ah, this is a great question. So, so sometimes depending on the conversation, I'll know where to start. But
Yeah.
based on this, I'll just put it like this. So, um, I graduated college with honors and
Hmm.
getting into college, and that's a whole other story right there. But after I graduated, I started working for this billion-dollar company,
Wow.
and I was a project analyst, and
Hmm.
I was doing all these great things for the company. But it was during the time of a recession. So the day after
Mm,
my son was born, they said, "Congratulations on your son, Chris, but we got to let you go." So I was devastated,
yeah.
emotions going up and down because I was nervous, getting everything ready for my son,
Right.
and because that job was paying me double what I was getting paid from my previous job before that,
Hmm.
my wife and I were just spending money, taking trips,
Hmm.
and putting everything into out of savings into getting things prepared for our firstborn son.
Right.
So then we got hit with that, and then 2 months after that, we lost everything in an apartment fire, no renter's
Oh,
insurance.
wow.
Yeah, so just to add
Wow.
fuel, fuel to the
Man.
fire. That's not a good phrase, but yeah.
Right.
So I had,
Right. Yeah.
so just
Like,
right after that, so she wasn't working at the time. I'm not
mhm.
working. We have our son, no
Mhm.
job, and then all of our savings were depleted because we took everything to prepare for the baby to come. We were like, okay,
Right.
we'll just spend it and then just
Mhm.
stack it back up,
Yeah.
shortly after because we have the money coming in. But no, the money dried up. Then we
Mm.
lost everything literally in an apartment fire. We just had enough to get the baby carrier, just the
Mhm.
car seat, and then the
Mhm.
keys for the car, and then
Wow.
that was it. And then luckily, my wife's parents had a spare bedroom that they cleared out so that we can live out of for several
Mhm.
months.
Mhm.
It was so bad that Red Cross had to give us a $250 gift card just so we can get
Wow.
clothes from Walmart because we literally
Wow.
didn't have anything.
Yeah.
Because like I said, it was few months after, or a couple months
Mhm.
after he was born, so all
Mhm.
those funds were gone.
Yeah.
Um, and so, fast forward, I had
Mhm.
learned some things about, direct response marketing, entrepreneurship, and then I was able to start a company where I was a social media manager for one
Mm.
of the jobs that I used to work at. So
Wow.
I put them on as a client, and they were paying me monthly. And then I
Mhm.
took on a law firm, and there were other couple of companies that I took on to, get that.
Yeah.
And then so that was my first real dose of like a real business, right?
Yeah.
Where everything else was online before, but that was actually, sort of brick and mortar,
Mhm.
contractual, going to see the people, having meetings with them, and then they would pay me on a monthly retainer.
Okay.
And so those are the things where I saw, wow, like I don't have to be totally dependent on somebody
Mhm.
else to
Yeah.
decide my success, my livelihood, and my financial future. I can
Right.
actually do things myself that can put
Mm-hmm.
me in the position to grow wealth. And
Right.
so I had to think about it from that perspective. And then it was kind of going down the rabbit hole after that, and then studying from some of the greats.
Okay.
Sometimes people want to, hit the nicks and bruises and twists and
Mm-hmm.
turns and figure it out on their own. But the real cheat code is finding somebody that's doing it on a
Right.
high level
Yeah.
that has receipts or has a track record of success, and then have them teach you. Pay them to
Mm-hmm.
teach you how to do it.
Right.
That way, you know how you heard the 10,000 hours, right?
Yes.
You got to have 10,000 hours to master something, right?
Yeah.
But somebody else, I learned this from one of my mentors. He's like, somebody
Mhm.
else already has those 10,000 hours. Why don't you
Right.
just use their 10,000 hours, learn what they know, and then apply it? And
Yes,
that's the key
sir.
thing to applying it. Because I'm the type where I'll do this analysis of paralysis thing where I would just
Hmm.
study, 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 and
Yeah.
not even take the first step because I didn't want to make a mistake,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And what I've learned over time is that you're going to make mistakes, and that's
Hmm.
part of the process.
Yeah.
But I know that was a long answer to your question as far as how I got to this place, but that was where the trajectory started for this
Hmm.
journey.
Nah, man, I wasn't long because actually I'm sure that was the truncated version because I wanted to know more about your story. And I'm sure that there's a lot more intricacies and a lot more challenges that you had to experience, man. It's
Yeah,
life is a roller coaster, not just from the personal side of things, but like you mentioned, when it comes to business, when it comes to finances, there's so many things that we endure during our lives. And oftentimes those things that are happening behind the scenes that nobody gets to see. And in a position like you're in now where people are able to see your success, it's very difficult for people to know all of the things that you had to endure in order to get to where you're at, right?
that's right. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, man. But nah, that is so dope. And I can totally relate to like that analysis paralysis. I noticed over the years I had the tendency of like investing in like courses and doing these things and you know focusing in on too many instead of just saying, let me just focus in on this one
Yeah.
course, do all of the exercises, get
Hmm.
the results before I
Hmm.
move on.
Hmm.
And that was kind of like a rule that I put in place for myself before I invest in any other programs or any other things. Whatever I invested in previously, I have to at least get the result that was promised when I made that investment, right? Because then it's like I'm not being really fair to myself. I know a lot of people will just kind of put the blame on those people and be like, oh, well, their product or their service or their program didn't deliver. But it's like, yo, no, did I really invest everything that I needed to invest in
That's
order
right.
to get those results, right? So putting it back on myself. Nah, man, I can
Absolutely.
relate.
That's the key. That's the key. That's the key because it's like they call the shiny ball or shiny object syndrome, where it's just
Hmm.
like, oh, well, this is working or this is working. And the truth is, most of them work. If
Yeah,
you just see it through and follow it until it's in, then you'll
right.
see success on any level because they're like, oh, well, you can make money with this, you can make money with that. And the fact is, you can, but
Yeah.
you need to have a soul laser like focus on one thing. And then that's when you start to see the success.
Precisely. And that kind of goes into what we're going to be talking about today, which is, what are the best passive income streams for coaches and agency owners? And I'm pretty sure that there are a lot of misconceptions, a lot of mistakes that people make when it comes to passive income streams. And, as somebody who operates in that space quite frequently, I would love to get your take. What do you think are some of the mistakes that people make when they start to build their passive income streams?
So, so like if you have a coach or a mentor that doesn't have a mentor,
Yeah.
then you need to run the other way. But one
Right.
of my mentors, one of my coaches says that, a lot of times people want to have all these multiple income streams or multiple
Hmm.
passive income streams, but they don't have streams. He said that they have ponds, right?
Right.
Like, because they dibble and dabble in this, they want to do this, and they're all over the place. But
Right.
going back to what we were just talking about, they don't have
Mhm.
that laser like focus, right?
Yeah.
And so sometimes people will look at, and this is another thing that
Mhm.
that I've talked about in the past.
Mhm.
One thing people will look at, they'll look at like the Tyler Perrys and the Oprahs, and they'll look at
Mhm.
all these business moguls, and they'll see that they'll have all these multiple income streams. But what they don't realize is that they had one sole focus first, and they
Right.
dug that well very deep until
Mhm.
it was all automated. Where it was just going on its own, and then they took the overflow from that, if you will, and then they
Mhm.
started going into other things. It wasn't
Yeah.
that they were starting multiple things at one time. They went one well deep,
Mhm.
made sure it was successful, and then they carried on to the next part. And
Right.
so that's the one key. You have to focus on one thing first, let that
Mhm.
grow, and then go over. And my focus, I really focus on college students, like
Okay.
students that are looking to go into college, and then I
Hmm.
really help them focus on passive income streams in that method because
Yeah.
some students, they'll go to college, they'll
Hmm.
want to cut hair, do
Hmm.
nails, make
Yeah.
wigs, and do
Yeah.
all these other things, or
Right.
physically make the t-shirts or physically make the clothes if they're,
Hmm.
a designer, clothing designer, for example. But
Hmm.
the more successful they are in those things, then the less time they have for their studies, or the less time
Right.
that they have for schoolwork, and
Hmm.
or the more successful they are, then the less time they have for themselves.
Right.
And so, you know, one thing I like to teach the students is the principle that Rich Dad Poor Dad had, Robert Kiyosaki, with the
Hmm.
cash flow quadrant.
Hmm.
You have employee, self-employed, business owner, and investor.
Yeah.
And so what students do is they take the employee and then they become self-employed. So
Hmm.
instead of them working for a job, they own the job, right?
Right.
And
Right.
then they end up working more hours
Hmm.
for themselves. So it's like 40, 50, 60 hours a week, and they have
Yep.
no time for themselves. And then it's just like they've just taken up more time to do this
Hmm.
thing. And so
Yeah.
when we go back to the passive income side part, then
Hmm.
we have to focus on ways to where we can leverage their ideas, their
Hmm.
expertise, and how we can leverage that into passive income.
Yeah.
Um, so some of the best and easiest ways to create that is, let's say that you don't have your own idea, your own
Hmm.
product, your own service. Some of the easiest ways you can start off with to get your feet wet, if you will, is through
Hmm.
affiliate marketing.
Right.
Right.
Hmm.
So affiliate marketing, for those that don't understand, is somebody else had a product or a system or something where you
Hmm.
can promote it. And then if somebody buys by you promoting it, you'll get a commission, you'll get
Yeah.
a payment.
Hmm.
And so, and then sometimes people are like, well, I don't know, is that actually a thing? Yeah, if you go to Amazon Associates, right?
Yep.
Or if you go to, ClickBank Marketplace or some of your favorite brands, all you
Hmm.
have to do is just go to Google, type in the company's name, and type in affiliate program
Right.
or associate program. And then most of the times you'll find that they actually have a program to where they'll give you a unique link, and you can promote it in any form or fashion you want to, and then
Yeah.
you'll get a commission every time somebody purchases that product.
Right.
And
Right.
so I usually take students through a certain phase to where if they have an idea, how to
Hmm.
monetize that into multiple passive income streams. So I don't
Okay.
know if you want me to take you through that journey that I take them in, or if you want to just go in a different direction.
Yeah, so I'm sure that we'll start to unpack a little bit about that, but I did want to get your thoughts on something that you had mentioned, right? When you were talking about the examples of like Oprah and, people essentially digging that well deep first before they try to go and create all of these different streams of income. And this is the one thing that I've noticed when people talk a lot about having passive streams of income, they always tend to put a lot of emphasis on the number. Like, yo, I got like 10 passive income streams or 20, but then it's just like, well, hold on. If we look into it, like you make an extra $20 over there,
Check the receipts, okay?
what I'm
You got
saying? So it's like,
$3 in passive income for
right,
the last
it
10 months.
sounds good when you
Right,
like, yo, I got 20 streams of passive income. But I say that not to like point and make fun of it, right?
right.
But to get your thoughts, right? As somebody who does this, do you feel it's more effective for a person to have a certain number of streams, like a lot of them, or is it better to have a fewer number of passive income streams, but they're generating more revenue, more income?
Yeah, so there's two schools of thoughts, right?
Hmm.
Sometimes you have, we talked about the employee, self-employed, and then business owner. So the
Yes.
business owner is where it's more so passive, right? you have
Hmm.
you have you're using other people's systems or other people's money or
Hmm.
other people's time, if you will,
Hmm.
to grow your wealth,
Right.
right? Whereas the self-employed is it's mostly on you. And then
Hmm.
sometimes people want to, especially if they're starting at the employee phase, they want to jump over into the passive. But the
Hmm.
truth of the matter is that you do need to go through that self-employed stage so that you understand the systems, right?
Right.
Once you understand how it all works, how the different pieces of this big engine works together,
Hmm.
then you'll have more of the knowledge on how you can delegate. How you can
Yeah.
delegate this system. I want you to do this. You're not
Hmm.
taking advantage of me because I know, or you are trying to take advantage of me
Right.
because I know how much this cost, or I know how much time this should take. Right.
Hmm.
And so that's going to make you savvy when it comes to the whole operation. You know how
Okay.
it's supposed to work. And then once you get a good understanding, then you can actually scale it or hire
Hmm.
better or have the capital or
Hmm.
resources to pay for the best. Right. And then
Yeah.
now you're running on good terms. But you know, when you when you're starting out,
Mm-hmm.
let's say for that one, I think
Mm-hmm.
it's good to just dig deep until it
Mm-hmm.
becomes successful. One of the
Yeah.
guys I follow, Joshua Mayo, he has a
Mm-hmm.
YouTube channel and he
Mm-hmm.
generates, thousands a day. He's documented on his YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the things he started out doing was he had a sole focus on creating a business from his YouTube channel. And
Mm-hmm.
in this first year, he went through like 9 or 10 months where he had maybe 1 view, 5 views, and he wasn't getting anything. And
Mm-hmm.
then when it first started getting monetized, it might have been like $3 a day, $5 a day, just like
Mm-hmm.
we're talking about.
Right.
But then he kept getting better at it. He
Mm-hmm.
kept tweaking and modifying and getting better. And then he started ramping up to where, okay, now he's getting 1,200 a day, $2,000 a day, things like
Yeah.
that a day, right?
Right.
But
Right.
let's say that he gave up and he said, this ain't working. Let
Mm-hmm.
me jump to something else and try to create that. Or let me
Mm-hmm.
try to create all these things at one time.
Mm-hmm.
But going back to what we originally talked about, you have to become the master in one thing until
Mm-hmm.
you see yourself as the best. Once you become the best or you start comparing yourself with the best, you can see
Mm-hmm.
the things that you're not doing that the best is doing, and
Right.
then just tweak your methodology or daily habits until you
Mm-hmm.
acquire those same habits that the best is doing.
Right.
Once you do that, then you'll start to receive the results. You won't
Yeah.
see them necessarily immediately,
Mm-hmm.
but once you continue to do the right activities over and over again for a
Mm-hmm.
consistent basis, because that's the thing, consistency is the key. Once
Right.
you start doing those things over and over again, the right activities, then
Mm-hmm.
you'll start to see the results eventually. And
Nah,
so
that's good.
that's why you have to focus, because you're not going to start day one and start making the two, three, $4,000 a
Mm-hmm.
day. Not at
Mm-hmm.
all. You're
Yeah.
going to have those days where there's nothing and it's
Right.
crickets, right?
Right.
But you're sharpening the saw, if you will, and then you're
Mm-hmm.
continuing to get better and better. Once you do
Okay.
that, and then they're not just him, but there are all these other people that have documented success, and
Mm-hmm.
then now they're venturing into other things. Okay, you might
Right.
in real estate, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and investing in stocks or certain commodities, things like that. Those are the things that people start doing when they want to diversify, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or start
Yeah.
to mix it up, and they
Right.
want to start getting into other areas because they've built a successful base, and
Mm-hmm.
now they're able to diversify into other things. So
Right.
yeah, I'm always for digging your well deep, even if
Mm-hmm.
it's not growing to the rate that you want it to. You
Mm-hmm.
continue to get better, and you'll start
Mm-hmm.
to see the success, and then go on. Don't have all these multiple
Right.
ones, because it's not going to work out like that. I haven't seen it, and for
Yeah.
most of the people at the top levels, those
Mm-hmm.
that's the same thing that they all consistently say.
Right, right. So based on what you shared so far, I think I've highlighted like three mistakes for people to avoid, right? So the first one being not having a solid foundation, right? Before you even start to even venture into setting up passive income streams, have an active one, right? Like
Yeah,
have one that is actively bringing in income. And then the second thing that you had mentioned, which I think is a mistake, is doing too much too soon. So like trying to set up 5 or 10 different passive income streams all at the same time. It's like, okay, you get that foundation built, then branch out, do maybe 1 or 2 areas of passive income and build them up. And then kind of continue to expand from there. And then, like the third one that you mentioned, not giving up too soon. So once you start that 1 or 2, and maybe things are just trickling in, it's not coming in really fast, and instead of just saying, oh, this isn't going to work, and hop into something else, giving it time to actually produce the results that you're looking for.
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I'm with you 100%. And another thing that I thought of as you were talking is
Mm-hmm.
that you know there are different ways to leverage bigger amounts of money. For example, let's say that you have an idea, right?
Mm-hmm.
um and I hope I'm not going forward too fast, because I know we're
No,
going to
no.
talk about
Hey,
different
I'm,
passive
I'm
income
following your
streams.
pace. It's
Okay, and
fine.
so let's say that you have an idea, you have an expertise. So
Mm-hmm.
all of the experts say that the money is in the list. The
Mm-hmm.
money is in the list. And so what that means is that if you have knowledge, expertise, or know-how in any area, and you want to build some type of product, a digital
Mm-hmm.
product, or a course, or a book, for example. One of the
Mm-hmm.
things that I get paid monthly,
Mm-hmm.
just let's say just on Amazon alone, just from my
Mm-hmm.
Amazon royalties, I get a significant income stream coming in from that every single
Okay.
month. That day comes in, and I'm like, oh wow, like
Yeah.
people from around the world are buying my book, and it's cool
Mm-hmm.
to see that. And I was like, wow, like who would have thought that my ideas put
Yeah.
on paper in a book would actually generate money for me,
Right.
right? And then those things stream out into speaking gigs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so Those things were like one speaking gig paid me more than I would make in a month on my job,
Mm.
right?
Wow.
And so it's just like, but that wouldn't have happened if I hadn't created that one stream, you
Right.
know,
Right.
or if I have a group coaching program, and so
Mhm.
I keep it high price for a reason,
Mhm.
because if I have thousands of people that want to work with me and want my time, I
Mhm.
physically don't have the time to create the necessary value or
Right.
that time that
Mhm.
they need to be successful. And
Exactly.
so for those that are willing to either sacrifice, or and, we have certain scholarships for the culture program too, but for those
Mhm.
that are willing to make that sacrifice and dedication, saying, I'm going to do everything that you say, right?
Mhm.
And then I give them a guarantee. I'm just like, if you do everything I tell you to do,
Mhm.
and you don't receive the results, you get your money back, right?
Yeah.
No questions asked,
Right.
right? So then it's a risk reversal. It takes the risk out of them, because they're saying,
Mhm.
okay, if I do what you say, you're going to get me these types of results, right? At
Right.
least a minimum amount of results.
Right.
And then those are the things that can generate a lot of cash really
Mhm.
fast. Even though there's a time commitment on my part, that's not
Mhm.
truly passive. It'll generate the income. Then I can take the money and then
Yeah.
put it into something like, let's say Facebook or Instagram ads, and then
Mhm.
that can help scale it and automate it in the background.
Right.
But the
Yeah.
first thing is having a list. Once you have your list
Mhm.
and you know exactly what you want to do,
Mhm.
one of my coaches, or a couple of my coaches, they say you want to create a specific result for a specific person.
Mhm.
The problem is some people are trying to create these passive income streams, and they're trying to, do what they can to speak to everybody. But if
Right.
you know, you try to speak to everybody, you're not going to get anybody, right?
Nope. Nope.
But some fancy terms they have is like customer avatar, right?
Mhm.
Or that unique individual that you're speaking to. If you speak to that one person and get them that one result,
Mhm.
right? And you focus on getting them that one result, people will, raise their hand and say, you're the person I'm looking for.
Right.
And here's the thing.
Mhm.
Sometimes people say that, well, somebody else is teaching some of the same things I'm teaching. Yeah,
Mhm.
but you have a different story than that person.
Right.
If they
Right.
say the same thing, it might not resonate with you. But when it's coming
Mhm.
from you, it's resonating and they're connecting
Right.
with you. So now that they're connecting with you, they want to be
Mhm.
able to continue this path with you because they understand from when you say it, or they understand your perspective. And
Right.
that's the key thing that shouldn't discourage someone when they see
Mhm.
other people teaching the same things or overlapping, right?
Yeah.
But even in that, you still want to have what they call a unique selling proposition, or
Right.
USP. So you want to
Mhm.
have something that's going to say, all right, I'm the only one that's teaching this way, right?
Mhm.
Or from this
Mhm.
perspective. So
Yeah.
instead of being a small fish in a big pond, you become a big fish in a smaller pond, which ends
Right.
up becoming a big pond because you end up growing that audience.
Yeah.
And so if you don't mind, we could dig into that a little bit if you want to. Is that
Yeah,
cool?
we can. By all
Okay,
means.
cool.
Yeah.
So for those that have never heard of anything like that before,
Mhm.
you have these thing called niches, right? So you have these
Mhm.
big groups. And the top three areas as far as income producing usually are in three areas: health, wealth,
Mhm.
and relationships.
Right.
So sometimes I say, well, I want to do a business or create a business around health.
Mhm.
That's as Russell Brunson says, that's a bloody ocean, right? It's a red
Yeah.
ocean, right?
Yep.
And so that's where all the sharks are coming and everybody's going crazy. But
Mhm.
then you want to create a blue ocean. So there's this book called Red Ocean, Blue Ocean. But then you
Mhm.
want to get into the sub level, which is called a sub niche. So
Mhm.
now instead of just health, now you could focus on food or diet. You could focus on, fitness, right?
Yep.
But then even in the fitness world, like that's kind of a red ocean still, right? So
Mhm.
now you want to go sub niche, right?
Right.
So now let's say that you're focusing on, creating um the best arms, right? Let's say
Mhm.
that you're
It
you're
it's
the
so funny that you said that because that's what I was just thinking.
oh wow,
I was
see,
just
there
thinking
we
like if
go.
somebody was just to focus on helping people to grow their biceps, right?
Right,
Like that's very
exactly.
specific, but it's still within that larger niche of health and then fitness, right?
Right. So
Yeah.
then now you become the world expert on the best arms,
Yeah.
right? And
Yep.
then so or like the best biceps, right? So
Right.
let's say that somebody wants to focus, okay, we're not just talking about arms, but we're talking about specifically how do you get the best biceps.
Yeah.
Now you can be the bicep king or bicep
Mhm.
queen or whatever. And
Yeah.
now you're the go-to person. Now when everybody's having the conversations in the room when you're not there, they're
Mhm.
talking about your specific thing that
Right.
you get results with.
Right.
And then that's the key. And then when people come to you, you need to have systems in place where you're able to capture their information.
Mm-hmm.
So when I say capture their information, it could be something as simple as an email, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Everybody still uses email. Like when you
Yep.
verify stuff, you have to verify it through email.
Fact.
Everybody's still going to come to you for that thing, and you need to capture their information. So
Mm-hmm.
when you capture their information, now you can set up systems in place to where you have messaging to follow
Mm-hmm.
up with them automatically.
Right.
So
Right.
instead of you going out and sending an email to this person, sending an email to this person, or trying to do a blind carbon copy, no, there are things in place, and you can set up a chain of emails. Let's say 20 emails that go out
Mm-hmm.
once a day, every single day, and you
Right.
set it up one time. And every time somebody comes in through the front end of that funnel,
Mm-hmm.
now they're going to receive some type of communication from you every single day to build that relationship to where they know, like, and trust you.
Right.
Now, every time you come out with a new product, let's say you come out with a new course or a
Mm-hmm.
new audio program or a new ebook or something that's digital, right? Because this is
Yes.
a digital age.
Yes.
So when you talk about, like, okay, what are the best type of passive income streams? Digital products are the way to
Right.
go.
Yeah.
And then even if it's a physical product, remember we were
Mm-hmm.
talking about Amazon, right?
Yes.
So Amazon
Mm-hmm.
KDP, Kindle Direct Publishing, they allow you to take a PDF of your
Mm-hmm.
book, right?
Yep.
And so here, let's back up. So let's
Okay.
say you have an idea.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna talk about how to get your book published, right? In the
Okay.
next
Let's
like
do
3 minutes, right?
it.
So let's say that you're an expert on something.
Mm-hmm.
You help this person get this result by doing this specific thing. Okay.
Right.
You help this person get this specific result by doing this specific thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's your result. That by doing these things, that's the promised result that they're gonna get.
Right.
So now you're going to take your specific customer avatar and you're going to take them from point A, from
Mm-hmm.
them not have read your book before or
Mm-hmm.
consumed your information, to getting to this specific point. Okay.
Right.
So from A to Z. And
Mm-hmm.
by, for in this example, when they read your book, it's going to take them from point A to point Z.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, once you have the specific result, now you're going to break it up into different milestones to get them from point one to the last point, or point A
Right.
to B. Let's say A to B because I keep saying
Mm-hmm.
Z, but A to B, from
Yeah.
point A to point B. Now they have these different milestones, right?
Yes.
So in order for them to get there, the first
Mm-hmm.
thing they're going to have to do is, okay, let's stick with the bicep thing, right?
Yeah.
So
Let's go
before
with
they
it.
do that, let's just say before they even get to having the best biceps in the world, let's
Mm-hmm.
talk about their mindset, right? Some people
Right.
think that's not important, but mindset is important for almost everything we can do,
Mm-hmm.
right? So mindset, right? The mindset, you can do this, you do
Mm-hmm.
have the capabilities of building the best biceps, whatever.
Right.
Now the next step is coming up with a schedule, a routine, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm no bicep, I ain't gonna show you my arm, but I ain't no
Right.
bicep
I
expert,
know you.
right?
I know
I
you.
was gonna say,
You
boom, like
freestyling right now. You freestyling
let
every
me
time
show
I
you
see
these.
you. Right.
No, like I gotta wear tight, slim sleeves to make it look like I got big arms. But
Right.
hey, I'm going back in the gym. All right. Anyway, so look, so you have these milestones, and then you have to schedule, and then you come up with
Mm-hmm.
all these things. So by the end, they have the result of
Right.
improved biceps, right? And now you have the milestones. So now within the milestones, you have steps. Okay, you
Mm-hmm.
have lessons. All those lessons could be, you know, lessons. So the
Right.
milestones are actually going to break up into your chapters. So you
Mm-hmm.
have 8 to 10 chapters, 8 to 10 milestones, and now you have your lessons, right? Your
Mm-hmm.
lessons could be sub chapters, and then what's in the paragraphs or the points under that could be your steps.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I'll show you how to flip the book and turn it into a digital product or a course in a second. But
Okay.
now that you have that, you can actually go to Otter. It's a OTTER. It's
Mm-hmm.
a AI tool where you can actually speak, and
Mm-hmm.
then it'll actually transcribe your words. Okay, so it'll
Nice.
transcribe your words. So now you don't even have to type it. Some people are like, well,
Right.
I'm not going to type it. I'm slow. You can actually get a note card, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you can get a note card, and each day you can have your topic, what you're going to talk about, your milestone, and then
Mm-hmm.
put bullet points on what you're going to talk about to achieve that milestone.
Yeah.
You can go walk in and then just turn on the app and then just start speaking.
Right.
Now you already know it so well, you're going to get your whole chapter written, and you just went on a jog around the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Now chapter 1 is done, right?
Right.
Then the next day, or let's say you want to do 2 chapters, you go run in the morning, and then
Mm-hmm.
now in the evening you're going to do another walk or whatever. Now you
Yeah.
got 2 chapters from your book, and it's only
Right.
the first day.
Right.
Now so within a week you'll have your
Mm-hmm.
whole book typed out or
Nice.
transcribed. Now your
Right.
book is done, and it's only been a week. Now
Wow.
you can send it to an editor. You can find one on
Mm-hmm.
Fiverr or Upwork, or you can find some of the best editors out there. But
Mm-hmm.
now they're going to edit, and they're going to try to tweak it, make sure all the grammar's right, make sure the
Right.
tone is flowing, all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
right? And then here's another thing that you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to books, facts tell, stories sell. So you
Mm-hmm.
want to integrate some type of story within the
Right.
facts, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
when you're like, okay, this is how you do this, but let me give you an example
Mm-hmm.
of somebody I've worked with. Or let me
Yeah.
give you an example of this article I read. This person, this famous person that you all are familiar with, did the
Mm-hmm.
same thing. They had noodle arms, and now they got arms like Arnold Schwarzenegger, right?
Right.
And then so these are the things that they did, right?
Yes.
And so when people hear the story about how it happened, they get drawn in because they're like, I can relate to that story,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Mm-hmm.
now you're focusing or surrounding the facts on specifically what to do with a story.
Yes.
Now it's ingrained in their mind and now they can remember it. And
Mm-hmm.
now when they're going to tell people about your book,
Yes.
now they can tell the story. Oh, I remember when he was talking about this. This is what
Mm-hmm.
happened, and this is what he came across, right?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So now
Yes,
you have
sir.
the what, the why, and the how to. So if
Mm-hmm.
you ingrain the what, the why, and the how to in each chapter, it's going to
Mm-hmm.
continue your reader throughout the whole book.
Okay.
So now you got your book done. You can send it to your editor. You can
Mm-hmm.
go on Fiverr, find somebody to do the, or go to 99 Designs, have somebody to do the cover, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can set it up as a contest. Now you
Mm-hmm.
got your editor, and you can have it somebody format. Now you have your finished product. You have your PDF. It's
Mm-hmm.
been edited. It's been formatted. You got your cover. You upload it on Amazon KDP. We
Mm-hmm.
still haven't talked about a physical book yet. You upload on
Right.
Amazon KDP. Now you have a physical book that people can purchase on Amazon,
Right.
and it just came from the knowledge in your head, and it
Yeah.
only took a week, and now it has a potential to pay you infinitely, right?
Mm-hmm.
Forever, as long as the information is relevant. Now you can do some things as marketing on the back end, but now
Yeah.
you have that. Now all you have to do is wash, rinse, and repeat, and you could take that same information and you
Mm-hmm.
can record it on video. You
Right.
show examples, you click them through the how to, right? So the book
Yep.
is given the what to do with some how to, but you're
Mm-hmm.
given some specific what to do and how to do it step by step in your course. And
Yeah.
now you put it on a website like Skillshare, Thinkific, any of these platforms so where you can put it online and then
Mm-hmm.
people could pay you, $100, $200, $2,000. Let's say if
Yeah.
it's a coaching program where they're getting your time, it could be
Mm-hmm.
$3,000, $5,000 or more. And you
Right.
probably just like, why would people pay that much money? Well, if people want a specific result and they have the
Mm-hmm.
resources and the capital to pay you, they will pay you.
They will.
And now, because they're paying you more, now
Mm-hmm.
you can produce the better result.
Right.
Versus like, I'm pinching pennies trying to keep this business afloat. I don't know how I'm going to do it. Now you can outsource and pay other coaches to teach
Mm-hmm.
specific aspects of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's say with the biceps course, now
Yeah.
you have somebody that's an expert at stretching. You
Mm-hmm.
can pay them a percentage
Mm-hmm.
of the profits and just say, hey, I want you to focus on doing stretching. So when
Right.
people come through the coaching program, you're going to focus on that, and you can go through each aspect, and now you can just sit back and then
Right.
you can watch your company or business grow, because now you're leveraging other people's time. They're happy because you're
Mm-hmm.
paying them, right?
Yeah.
And then
Yep.
your customers are happy because they're getting specific targeted results from an
Mm-hmm.
expert on that specific area,
Right.
right? So now you have your book that's paying you. Now you
Mm-hmm.
have your digital course that's paying you. And then if you want to drive traffic organically, you can create a
Mm-hmm.
YouTube channel.
Yep.
So now, it used to be the 4,000 hours,
Mm-hmm.
and 1,000 subscribers, right? But
Yeah.
now you only have to have 500 subscribers to monetize YouTube, which
Right.
is amazing, right?
Yeah.
And so
Yeah, it
let's
is.
say that you're focusing your channel specifically on growing the best biceps.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, over time, when you have certain keywords, certain thumbnails, there's an
Yeah.
amazing book called The YouTube Formula. So, if you guys
Mm-hmm.
want to grow YouTube, or even start a YouTube, I suggest doing that,
Mm-hmm.
reading through that book, as well as other people who are experts in YouTube. But that's a great book just to start off to read.
Okay.
But if you get your thumbnails right, your titles
Mm-hmm.
right, and you do those things to grow your YouTube channel, now you're getting monetized by Google or YouTube.
Right.
Google purchased YouTube. So, you're getting
Mm-hmm.
monetized through the YouTube ad network, and you're getting paid through that.
Yeah.
Now let's go back to the affiliate marketing. Now here's
Yeah.
another passive income stream. So you
Mm-hmm.
have your affiliate link. So let's say that you have supplemental products, or you even have your product. So now
Right.
if people want to go just say, hey, this episode has been brought to you by XYZ. Now the companies are paying you on a monthly retainer or a monthly
Mm-hmm.
residual just because you mentioned their name in that video.
Right.
So now you have YouTube paying for the video. You have the
Yep.
affiliate link in your description.
Yep.
So every time somebody clicks that link and purchases that product, you're getting paid,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so that's another passive income stream. And then let's say that you have a saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and let's say you have a saying or something, and then you have apparel, right? And
Yeah.
I'm always supporting my friends' apparel, right? So if you
Yes.
have a business out there, you have a clothing brand, like I have my own as well, right?
Hmm.
And then that's another thing. You can have what they call print on demand, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And so if you go to like on my IG, like in the link, it'll go to my
Hmm.
clothing store where I have apparel. And all it
Hmm.
took was I put my logo from my company,
Hmm.
uploaded it on Teespring,
Hmm.
Teespring, and now I have t-shirts, I have bags, I have fitness wear, all of those things that it only
Wow.
took me 30 minutes to create. So
Wow.
now if anybody goes to my link and they want to support the business or they want to wear the branding, whatever my logo means to them,
Yeah.
now I'm getting another stream,
Right.
right? And
Hmm.
so if you really think about it, it's just one business
Yeah.
with multiple streams.
Right.
So some people want to go out and they want to start investing in all these things that have nothing to do with each other, right?
Hmm.
So they want
Hmm.
to create a business about fitness and then they want to talk about real estate here and then they
Yep.
want to do this. But if you just focus on one business, it's really one stream that's
Right.
diversified into multiple streams.
Yeah.
And that's the key from what I've seen be
Hmm.
successful from the most of the people I follow, talk with,
Hmm.
and do business with. That's that's usually what
Hmm.
they do.
Yeah.
And then they end up leveraging that one business into multiple things. So I know that was a
Yo.
long response to so many things, but I
Yo.
think it
Yo.
kind of still flow with this whole passive income stream train.
Man, you dropped so many gems there, and what I want to kind of do is like really do a quick highlight of some of the things that you had touched on, right? Which is first and foremost, I think it's beneficial in the sense of our audience being coaches and agency owners, meaning like to your point just now, they already have established businesses, and what you just walked them through is how to take the knowledge that they already have, or the service or the product that they already are offering and selling out to the market, and take it and break it into additional products, additional services. And that kind of comes into some of those best passive income streams that you just talked about. You know, creating a book is one, creating an online course is another one. If a person doesn't already have a coaching program, you know, that's not necessarily passive in the sense of like coaching them being passive, but taking that information that you're sharing and putting it out, let's say on a IG, on a YouTube, right? You're creating content, you're creating videos, or even sending out emails to your email list that is promoting what the things that you're discussing in that coaching program. So it's getting you business essentially in an automated way. So like it's passive in the sense of like you're not actively out there saying, buy my product, get in my coaching program, get in my coaching program, but you're giving people value through your content that you're creating, through your emails, through your video, through your podcast, and that's passively bringing you in clients just based on the fact that something else you talked about, they know you, they like you, they trust you, all because every single day or every single week you're releasing content that's relevant to that problem, that solution that they're looking for. So yeah, man, like you dropped a lot of gems. You even talked about even letting YouTube, for example, be a form of passive income, whether that's the income that you're going to make through monetizing your channel, or just starting off with affiliate products, selling your own coaching programs or your own products and services that you're marketing and mentioning throughout that video. So yeah, man, I think that you definitely gave us a lot to think about. And I think that you made it clear that it's easier to start than people think. And I love the way that you kind of
Absolutely.
took us through that example of putting the book together, because most people would think, oh man, I got to put a book together. It's going to take me a year, or it's going to take, you know, like 6 months to do it. And you literally just talked about how a person could do it in like a week. You know, at the
Absolutely.
very
Yeah.
least, lay the groundwork, the foundation, or the first draft, get that done. And then clearly you're going to go through the editing process, and those things take time. But a person can take the knowledge that they have, output that in a matter of a week, and then from there just begin to tweak it, get it right, and you got that product that's going to be serving up new clients and new business and bringing in additional income passively. So yeah, man, that's powerful, bro. Powerful.
Absolutely. Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, because it's the hardest part is just getting it done,
Right.
right? The
Right.
hardest part is getting it done. Once you get it
Hmm.
done and it's out there, then that's when things start to move and shake for you
Yeah.
because you got that monkey off your back, if you will,
Hmm.
and then you just get that thing done, and then
Hmm.
once you start outsourcing it, then it's like, oh, okay, Like it's out
Yeah.
of my hands.
Hmm.
Now I can focus on something else as that's getting worked on. And
Yeah.
then when you have the
And the
finished
other
product.
thing,
Hmm.
And the other thing for people to keep in mind is all of the things that we talked about before you start giving the examples, right? All of those lessons still apply, which is you don't want to try to do all of those things at once, right?
Right.
Like pick one. Maybe
Right.
you want to do the book, maybe you want to do the online course, maybe you want to do the affiliate marketing, maybe you want to do the video. Focus in on one or two of those, go all in, get that product created, and then do what? Continue to build on that, allow that income stream to increase, and then you branch out and do others, right? So I definitely want to point that out because people will be like, oh man, yeah, like I want to do all of those. And yeah, like all of those are possible. Oh, I forgot the other one that you mentioned as well, which was the apparel, right?
Yeah.
That's
Hmm.
something that, you just take those designs, pretty much go on Teespring and like you mentioned, print on demand, where it's something that it's out of your hands. Like all you got to do is do the initial setup and then somebody else is doing the fulfillment for you. So
That's absolutely right. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, man, that's amazing. And one of the things like I was sharing, like one of the things that we focus here is about how to grow your audience as well as your income and using video, email, and podcast. And I love how you integrated that in, so seamlessly because it's a part of that process, whether it's the building of the funnels, like you talked about, whether it's having those email sequences once you get people on your list. And with that in mind, I just kind of want to speak to your personal experience. Which of those methods have you found to be the most effective in your business?
So at one point in time, it was well, paid advertising is the most effective. It's
Okay.
scalable, it's
Hmm.
calculated, hands down, right?
Right.
Everybody isn't there yet because some people, a
Hmm.
lot of people are starting from scratch and they're like, well, I don't have the capital, I don't have the resources.
Hmm.
So if you have the time, it's either
Hmm.
going to take time or money.
Right.
If you have the money,
Hmm.
paid advertising the right way. Find an
Okay.
expert who has results that's getting it on a high level, pay
Hmm.
them to do it, or pay for a course or coaching to learn
Hmm.
at the highest level, and then you do it.
Right.
If you don't have the resource, the financial capital, and you have the time,
Hmm.
then do the organic traffic, right?
Hmm.
YouTube, Instagram. If you're going after certain corporate or big organizations or clients that way, then
Hmm.
there's a specific approach with LinkedIn, right?
Hmm.
And there's a specific way to do that. But then when you start going viral, especially on these different sites like platforms like YouTube and Instagram, then you
Hmm.
have people reaching out to you. I've gotten so much business. Like one of my videos. So when
Hmm.
I started my Instagram maybe in 2021, maybe
Hmm.
for what I do now for this
Hmm.
business.
Yes.
And I think I might have had maybe, I don't know, 50, 60 views
Hmm.
on it, right? And that was a
Hmm.
lot for me, right?
Yeah.
And then fast forward to a post I did last week or week before last, it's
Hmm.
already like at 427,000
Wow.
views on that, right?
Right.
Because there were things I had to learn along the way, like what
Hmm.
makes things go viral. So I had to
Yes.
study from the best and see, okay, well, these are the things that keeps the people captivated, interested, want to share it, right? It has
Hmm.
like maybe, I don't know, 17, 18,000 shares
Hmm.
on it. And so what's going to make something shareable? What's going to
Hmm.
make something go viral? What's going to make people comment, like it, things like that. And
Hmm.
so that's not by accident. Isn't some
No.
people just like, well, let me post and then hopefully it goes viral. No, there's strategic things that people did. And the
Right.
reason I say that is because once you plant seeds or once you get a certain amount of exposure, then
Hmm.
a small percentage or a percentage of them will
Hmm.
want to reach out to you and want to do business because they see you
Hmm.
create enough value that you could probably create for their audiences. Because
Right.
everybody, big or small, has an audience of their own. So
Hmm.
now they see you could create that value on a specific subject. Now you can
Hmm.
create value for my audience. And then that's when they want to pay you.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
then that's the key. So a lot of
Hmm.
businesses come up from that. One of my coaches,
Hmm.
and I still need to get to this level. One of my
Yeah.
coaches, he says you need to make at least 3 to 5 posts a day.
Mm. Man.
3 to 5 posts, and one of them has to be a reel.
Hmm.
And so when people are doing, oh, I'm doing the one reel a week, or even a
Hmm.
one a day, one post a day, like
Right.
that's great. But he's like, nah, you want to take it to the next level, you need to be doing 3 to 5 posts a day
Hmm.
consistently,
Yeah.
and never stop. Just do it
Hmm.
forever.
Hmm.
Now, of course, once you get to a certain level, you can outsource a social media management
Right.
company, do these things for you. So it's not necessarily
Hmm.
you doing it, because the
Right.
real smart way to do it is take one day and record all your content, or take two
Right.
days and record, spend 8 hours and record all your content. Now you have
Hmm.
content for the next 3 months, perhaps,
Right.
right?
Right.
So then now it's not you doing all this stuff, but it's you recording it. You get your image, everything on there, and then now somebody else is going to take it from there.
Yeah.
So yeah, so starting out, especially if you don't have the money, go ahead and just spend the time just putting in the work, right?
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
so we'll be in this boat together. So like I'm
Yeah.
saying to you, and I'm speaking to myself too, we need to be doing 3 to 5 posts a day.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm
Yeah.
telling your audience as well as me, right? And then that's when you'll start to see things take off, right?
Hmm.
If you don't have the time to do it now, then go get as close to that as possible.
Yeah.
And that's
So with that in mind, so it sounds like the most effective strategy that you've been able to use in between those three, like email, video, and podcast, has been video.
video.
Yeah.
Absolutely, video. Because then there's so many things you can do with video. For
Hmm.
example, even with the podcast, you could take the video, extract the
Hmm.
audio from the video, and then have a podcast.
There you
You
go.
can get
Yeah.
the transcription or get it written out, get the transcription of that, and then put it on a blog post, right?
Right.
And so I took the one video, the one medium
Hmm.
of video, and I was able to create 3 different things just from that.
Right.
You have the video, you have the audio, and you have the transcription, and you can put it in its different platforms just
Yeah.
from that one video. Versus if you just have the transcription,
Hmm.
you're limited. Or if you just have
Right.
the audio, you're limited too. Some
Hmm.
people can take the audio, put like a thumbnail over it, and make it into a video. But when
Yeah.
people can see your facial expression, they say what communication is 90% nonverbal. So when you
Hmm.
can actually see the people, look at their facial expressions, look at their hands,
Right.
how they're moving, their body language, then sometimes. So let's say, for example, we
Hmm.
watch this episode on mute.
Hmm.
They could tell that we're engaged in this
Yeah.
conversation based on how
Right.
we're moving, smiling, engaged. They're
Yeah.
like, man, I don't know what they're talking about, but it sounds
Right.
like it's interesting or it looks like it's
Hmm.
interesting. Right. And so video can do all that. They say a picture's worth 1,000 words, but a
Hmm.
video can be worth infinitely more.
Right. Right. Oh man, this has been absolutely amazing. You have dropped so many gems throughout our conversation. Before we go, if people want to work with you, want to get in contact with you, support you, how can they do that?
The best way is just to go to my Instagram. You can go to
Okay.
my website, which is finlituniversity.net, but go to my
Mhm.
Instagram. That's where I engage the most.
Follow this man.
Follow me. Give me some follows, please.
Yes.
But I try to respond to every comment.
Wow.
I made a promise to myself to respond to every comment and every
Hmm.
message until I get to the level of, I guess, success, if you will. I get to the level where I just don't have the time to, right?
Yeah.
While I do, like, I want to be able to respond because I can remember I was once
Hmm.
that person that was just searching for information. I was hungry for it, and I had
Yeah.
no clue where to go, where to start, and so I want to be the person that actually remembers me when I first started, and just
Man.
say, hey, you can do this, you got this, let's go. But yeah, my Instagram is the FinLit Guy.
Hmm.
The financial literacy guy was too long, so it's the FinLit Guy. TheFinLit Guy. The FinLit Guy on Instagram.
Yeah, I'm gonna
And then
definitely make sure that I have a link in the description over on YouTube where this video is dropped, and definitely want to encourage you guys to go and follow Chris, show him some love, help him get those numbers up on those IG reels,
please,
man, so that
absolutely,
it reaches
yes.
an even larger audience.
Yeah.
Before we wrap up today, just wanted to know, did you have any questions that you like to ask me, or any last or closing words you like to leave our listeners with?
No, I just want to say thank you for having me. It has been an honor to be on your show, and to the listeners, just know that if you create enough value out in the marketplace, then there are people that are waiting for you to plant your flag so they could come and find you, right?
For real.
There are people that are specifically for you, but you have to make yourself known and put yourself out there so that they can find you. And once they find you, just continue to create value, and then the rest is history.
I love it. I love it. Yo, well, Chris, man, thank you again for being a guest on the podcast. If you're ever interested, man, you got an open invitation to come back. I already know that there's so much more that you could drop on us, and I'm grateful for everything that you share with us today, man. Thank you, bro.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you having me. Y'all have a good one.